Welcome to the Tarvin Family Association YouTube channel. I'm Roger Hoffman, the president of the association, and I wanted to give our cousins a summary of our recent cleanup at the Tarvin-Moore Cemetery in Campbell County, Kentucky. This cemetery has been watched over by our association for many years. Because of the love and caring and labor of many of our early association members, this cemetery has remained in excellent condition compared to other small country cemeteries. Early Tarvin Family Association members, Dennis Raymond Tarvin, who was cemetery chairman, and Dutch Strasinger, who owned the property, were instrumental in improving the cemetery grounds and making it the beautiful place to visit that it remains today. In the notes below, there is a link to a video that I made last year about the cemetery, highlighting the improvements done by members of the association in the late 1980s and early 1990s. By 1991, a bronze plaque had been placed near the entrance of the cemetery. Dennis Tarvin and Dutch Strasinger worked closely together on the cemetery until Dennis passed away in 1992. I remember my first visit to the Tarvin-Moore Cemetery, and that was in the year 2010 when I came to my first Tarvin reunion. I was impressed with the condition of the cemetery. There have been several reunions since that Tarvin cousins came to the cemetery to visit during the reunion time. This year at our reunion in September, there's a time set aside on Saturday morning to visit the cemetery. Many hundreds of hours of time and labor were devoted to the improvement of the cemetery by Dennis, Dutch, and other volunteers. Many stones that had been broken over the years were pieced together and then sealed in a concrete form and reset in an upright position. The evidence of this work appears with many stones in the cemetery that have been reset in concrete. Last fall, one of our cousins sent me some pictures of the then condition of the cemetery. I did some consulting with Brian Rogers, our cemetery caretaker, and Dick Tarvin, our TFA vice president. We considered that since no major improvements had been made since the 1990s, we felt that it was time to do a spring cleanup in 2024. So we organized one for April of this year. We had a tree pictured here that had split and one side had fallen against another tree. We saw that the bench and the fence needed repainting. Early in the year, the leaning tree was removed with very little cost to the association. For our volunteer project, some weed cutting around the perimeter and around the stones was needed. We formerly had a mailbox attached to the front podium that had a survey showing where various people were buried and also a guest book that visitors could sign. Over the years, the mailbox, which wasn't very waterproof, had some problems with critters and also moisture entering in. We felt it was time to make a change to that. We now have a waterproof box to hold the guest book and papers, and it is secured with bungee cords. There was one broken stone and several stones severely leaning, so it was determined to do a little concrete work to fix this one stone and upright the leaning ones. As most of you know, we had a very wet spring and we had to postpone our work project so that we could have firm ground for the concrete work and good weather for the weed cutting and painting. Because of the postponement and rescheduling, not all of our volunteers could come the same weekend, but by Memorial Day weekend, it was dry enough. This was our first crew that did the weed cutting on Memorial Day weekend. From left to right, Jack Tarvin, Roy Wagner, Kathy Tarvin Wagner, Sally Tarvin Vader, Tom Vader, Martha, and Carl Tarvin. We're very grateful. 3 of these cousins, Jack, Kathy, and Sally, are all children of Dennis Raymond Tarvin, who cared so much for the cemetery in the 1980s and 1990s. And thanks to all of these on this crew that came to help on that weekend. Our next group came on June 1st. Jake Dennis wielded the shovel and helped me to straighten several of the stones. Perry Sparks helped by cleaning some of the gravestones. Her dad Andy Sparks and Grandpa Mike Sparks did concrete work to help straighten stones. The results are great. Kathleen and Todd Sullivan headed up the painting crew. Lynn Sparks and Angie Geithline helped with the painting. Strong arms and leverage helped many leaning stones to become more upright. Brian Rogers and Dick Tarvin helped Mike Sparks, who was in charge of the concrete work, here creating a form which fixed a broken stone. Here is the end result of Mike's work, a stone encased in concrete that should survive for many years to come. This is our June 1st crew: Brian Rogers, Angie Geithline, Perry Sparks, Andy Sparks, Mike and Lynn Sparks, Dick Tarvin, Todd and Kathleen Sullivan, and Donna Kimball. Lynn Sparks brought lunch, and I found a comfortable seat atop Brian's mower. All Tarvin family members are welcome to visit the cemetery at any time. Just use the address in your navigation device: 3681 Dead Timber Road, California, Kentucky, and after entering the property, proceed along the road, passing the house and up the hill to the parking area just outside the cemetery fence. When visiting, please sign the visitor's log just inside the cemetery gate. We invite all Tarvin cousins to come visit the cemetery when you're in the area. We thank all the cousins and friends who came to help this spring, and we look forward to seeing many of you at our reunion in September. Thank you for watching. Please leave a comment below if you have any remembrances of the Tarvin-Moore Cemetery that you would like to share. Thank you.